is Shane McMahon ruining WWE? Yes, I did just have to look at my notes because I forgot what we were going to talk about. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm a little bit flustered because I feel like I'm cheating on Luke Owen. He's away for 2 weeks. He's on holiday in Peru. But I'm joined by the more than capable Pokemon hat-wearing Chopper, Pete Quinnell.
Hello. Hi. I wouldn't call myself capable, but, yeah. I'm here.
The fans will be the judge of that.
I am the knockoff Luke.
No, you're the first Chopper Pete.
I'm the first Chopper Pete. Yeah, sure, whatever you say.
Cool. And we will be taking your super chats because we are joined by Randy Andy Datson from WrestleTalk.com. Get those in, and we'll be going to your super chats after our first discussion point. Hit the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, leave a comment if you're watching the non-live version, and we will talk about the Shane McMahon problem. And when I suggested this title, you were like, I think we've done this. I think we've done this for the last month. I was like, no, we've done the wild card.
Yep.
It's the wild card ruining WWE. And there's an argument it very much is. However, I've now realised this week that Shane McMahon is separate from the wild card.
Yeah.
He is his own thing.
He's the Omni-Shane.
If the wild card rule wasn't in place, Shane would still be on both brands.
Yeah.
Because there's no authority figures. They don't exist, do they?
So many more quotation marks around that.
Yet so many people have to talk to Shane to get matches. And also, he has been no more on this episode that I realise how much time he's taking from stuff that deserves time. There is no reason that Shane McMahon should get 2 segments a week, long segments, in-ring, boring segments, celebrating Shane McMahon usually, to the expense of a Raw tag team title match and title change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes no sense for them to put so much focus on a guy that... Does he draw? The thing is, they're still working off the WrestleMania 32 hype. When he first came back to WWE, that was a proven ratings draw, and WrestleMania buys increased when Shane McMahon came back. So now, they just think, well, Shane's a draw. And then they'll put him in everything. And now he's taking away from stuff like, I don't know, the 6-man tag match on Raw was pretty fun. If that had a bit more time into it, I think that could have been amazing. That could have been so much fun. But we can't have that because we need to have Shane celebrating himself again.
Yeah.
He does it all the time as well.
Yeah, it's part of his character,
stuff.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he has also wrestled on every pay-per-view this year.
Really?
Yeah.
My God.
And this show, if you're thinking, well, you need an in-ring segment, don't you? There were, how many people cut promos on this show, Andy?
18.
18 people.
Oh, my
cut promos on this show.
That is an ungodly amount of talking.
And if you count the Bray Wyatt and 24/7 stuff, it's more than 20.
It was a promo heavy episode.
Yeah, it really was.
I've also done another bit of Venn diagramming.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because of course you've got the Shane McMahon mid-card of evil.
You do.
And you've got the Baron Corbin mid-card of evil. The Baron one's been going for months, since late 2018. Shane has only just started this up post-WrestleMania, because he was only against the Miz before. But now he's been plucking mid-card heels from wherever he can see. Even the Revival.
Yeah.
So, my worry is that in Shane's quest to dominate all of WWE programming, the 2 vortexes are going to merge.
Oh, no.
And the Baron Corbin vortex is going to be the Shane McMahon vortex.
Oh, no.
Shane's going to sit on top of everyone.
Oh, no.
Because the Shane mid-card of evil, the roster members so far, Bobby Lashley, Elias, The Revival, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
The Baron mid-card of evil so far, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Elias, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens.
Oh, my God.
They share 4 people out of 5.
That's not good.
No.
So they've got The Revival and Kevin Owens are the only 2 exclusive acts to the Shane mid-card and the Baron mid-card.
For now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. That's worryingly similar.
Yeah. And that they're even starting to cross over now. So Sammy's we'll run through Raw, the sort of Shane McMahon and Baron involved segments on Raw. which opened with Seth Rollins coming out. He cut a promo about how Brock Lesnar, he slew Brock Lesnar again with a chair. Here's the chair. Do you think it was the same chair?
They said it was the same chair, and it had damage to it to make you believe it was the same chair. Did he really take that on a flight with him? Is that his hand luggage?
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense. But sure, we'll go with it.
I don't think it will fit in the machine that checks stuff.
No, exactly. And it wouldn't fit on the
overhead luggage area.
Yeah, the overhead.
Covered in sweat. So can you take bodily fluid through U.S. Customs?
Oof, that's a good question.
Was it D12 it? Spray it down first. So yeah, he brings that out, and Baron quickly interrupts him and says, "Ooh, I have spoken to people, and I get to choose the special guest referee for our Universal title match at Stomping Grounds." Who is the only person who's a heel authority figure backstage? He's spoken to Shane McMahon, Pete.
Yeah, that's what he does.
And then that link was sort of confirmed more when Seth is like, well, who cares? No one likes you. Sami Zayn came out and said, well, I like him, I'll back him up. And then it was Sami Zayn later on who went to Shane McMahon to ask if he could be the second guest referee in the main event that night.
Yep.
Which was Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, which was also set up in this opening segment.
It's so convoluted and stupid. And also, I hated when Seth was just like, who are you going to have a special guest ref? You don't have any friends. It's like, Corbin always has friends. That's his thing. It's Baron Corbin's mid-card of evil. He always has friends. What are you talking about, Seth? Do you not watch the program? It annoyed me so much when he said that.
And what doesn't make sense either is that Seth Rollins as a babyface is saying, you're a stupid heel, nobody likes you. Like, but Baron's always getting helped out, mate.
Yeah.
Where are your friends? All the time. Sure, Roman might pop along once or twice, but really, Dean Ambrose left the company.
Yeah, you've not got a shield brother.
You have cut down 50% of your friends.
Yeah.
J&J Security.
Yeah, bring those guys back. Are they still with the company?
Yeah.
One of them is, I think.
Yeah, they both are. Yeah.
Anyway, later on there was the Sami Zayn going to Shane McMahon bit backstage, where it seems like Sami Zayn's trying to curry favour from McMahon. Like, if I help Corbin win, then maybe that would put Sami in line for a Universal title shot.
Yeah, he was insinuating. Well, Seth even asked him straight up in the opening promo to be like, well, what do you get out of it, Sami, by helping Baron win? And Sami was like, well, if I help out, maybe they can give me a favor in the future. So he's trying to play his cards to get to further himself, which is a nice character thing for him to do, because instead of him just being like, yeah, I like Baron now, he's like, no, I like Baron because he's going to help me. Yeah. And that at least was the very small silver lining out of this opening promo. But then later on, as you said, he saw Shane McMahon became the second referee for the match for the main event of Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. And the other referee was John Cone, who's the guy who, quote-unquote, screwed over Baron Corbin in the Super Showdown match. There wasn't much of a match. It was more Sami Zayn being Sami Zayn and just involving himself constantly. Opening bit was quite funny, and he was like, oh, I need to pat you down, need to check for this stuff. And then Kevin just screaming off mic, just like, he's doing a great job. I was like, yes, I love that stuff.
Yeah, Owens and Zayn are, of course, very good together.
Oh, they're so good.
But Owens here seemed kind of mentally checked out.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like, I've seen passionate Owens, and this wasn't that.
No, exactly. Something was a little bit off here. Like, when you look at on paper, if you look at the components of, like, Kevin having some banter with Sami and, saying things off mic and stuff, all the components of it are there of what makes Kevin and Sami such a great act, but nothing quite felt right. Something didn't quite click, I think, for this one. But I think they can if they treat them right. But I think you're right.
Well, they're on different brands. I know Wildcard and everything, but this isn't a permanent act. But then again, I would have said that about Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Christ. Yeah. But they did protect Owens. It's not like Owens was grumpy because he knew he was going to lose.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn enforced the rules to the extent where Seth pushed him and Sami just called for the DQ, giving Owens the win, technically.
So now Owens has beaten the Universal Champion. Is that going to be followed up on?
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It won't.
He's still no automatic rematch clauses. That wiped out that Goldberg rematch for KO. But yeah, after that, Seth Rollins then beat down. Well, no, Baron Corbin ran out, attacked. What's his face?
Rollins.
Rollins.
There we go.
But then what's his face?
What's his face?
Rollins. Fought him off and beat up Sami Zayn. I just feel like this is building SummerSlam to Shane McMahon versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah. I mean, Shane's gone through the one Shield brother. What's the next stop? The other one for the Universal Championship.
He's got 3 victories.
Yeah.
In consecutive pay-per-views so far.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on every single pay-per-view this year.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, Super Showdown. He's got... See what? No, he hasn't got a match announced yet for Stomping Ground.
No, but I'm assuming he's probably going to be in Drew McIntyre's corner, one would think.
So, yeah, I feel like this is building to a Seth. Maybe you'll have a Drew, Shane, Roman, Seth tag at some point.
Absolutely.
And then that will build to Shane and Seth. Good grief.
God, that would be awful.
But yeah, the other... So that was sort of the main event storyline. But there was, don't worry, another Shane McMahon-related storyline.
Of course
where
there
he was even more prominently featured. He had a Shane McMahon celebration event again... The week up, 6 days after the one on SmackDown last week. Mm-hmm. And he kind of had a similar one on Raw last week. And it's just where Shane comes down to the ring with Drew McIntyre and talks about how great he is for a long time.
Yeah. In isolation, this kind of promo is funny. It's nice. And it's like, oh, this is funny. He's celebrating himself even though he didn't really do anything. He cheated to win. Oh, what a heel. Yada, yada, yada. When he's taking up the rest of the program, it really loses its humor really, really fast.
Yeah.
And like some of the stuff he was doing was objectively like funny. Like there was a thing with the backstage promo with Sammy when Sammy was like, oh, maybe, I could be a second referee. And Shane was like, you know what, Sammy, you've given me an idea. How about you be a second referee? Like that's kind of humorous. And like he poured the champagne into the best in the world trophy. That's a nice little thing. But you take it out of context. You take it with all the other context. It's so bad. It is awful because we see this stuff all the time and it's the same every single week. It's so frustrating.
I agree it's overexposed. I agree with all those points. Apart from the idea that it wouldn't be bad if it was only a one-off. Because I actually don't rate Shane McMahon as a promo at all. I don't think he's got much charisma. I think he's very well packaged as that sort of underdog guy who then has a crazy match moment. But he's never been a promo guy.
No.
He is not an engaging speaker.
No, that's true.
So when he's doing all this stuff, I don't even think it's good in isolation. Especially if it maybe a 3-minute bit backstage jockeying around with heels, like having a sing-song with Elias. Sure. These are frequent 15-minute promos in the ring, which he hasn't got the personality to do. And this was a promo-heavy show anyway. Yeah,
and that was going to be my next point, is it's just those little bits that are the good bits. So if you just have the little bits and you cut it down to like a 1-minute, 2-minute promo, fine. When he's talking for 10 plus minutes about the same thing and trying to drag a promo out, he can't do it. It gets really boring really quick. As the crowd chanted at him, they chanted boring at him, and then he just turned around to the crowd and said, well, get used to it. And it's like, if that isn't some meta commentary on the product as a whole, I don't know what is. My God.
And then the revival, he sort of welcomed the revival down to be part of the Shane McMahon celebration because there was champagne there and stuff. The revival wanted to have some of the champagne, but they were like, no, you've got a match next. You can join in if you win the tag team championships. Mm-hmm. And this was a match against the Usos and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, who I also forgot were the Raw Tag Team Champions again. I thought it was going to be the
last
Usos.
time they wrestled before this was May the 6th.
Really? So
May
over a
the
month
6th.
ago.
Wow.
And originally it was a single, not a singles, but a 2-on-2 match.
Yeah.
Usos were announced about 4 hours before the show.
Yeah. So they had what could have been an excellent match. It was 3 minutes of action, just opening match stuff, ad break, cut back in, and Usos are going super kick crazy.
Finish.
Yeah. It was like the finishing sequence for 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the revival stole the win. We've got new tag team champions.
We do.
Feels like a footnote.
Yeah,
and
really is.
Really, the story there in WWE's eyes is, the revival are associated with Shane McMahon. And they've got the tag team titles now. What a powerful Shane McMahon faction it is. Plus, that could have been a really good match, like you said at the start of the show. But they didn't have enough time. And the talent in that ring, the Revival and the Usos in particular, if you give them time, you could have got the crowd invested and the viewers to a genuinely good match. And then when the title change happens, it feels like a bigger deal. And the tag division feels like a bigger deal. And everything is elevated. But that didn't happen because you needed 10 minutes of Shane McMahon saying how he's the best in the world. So yeah.
Yay, everyone celebrates. Shane's the best in the world again. Every week.
It really didn't work for me. I've been saying how bad Shane McMahon is for a while now. And now it's kind of leaking out across all the segment, out of his own brand into other bits elsewhere. Yeah. It's very damaging. But let's have your super chats from Randy Andy Datsun.
Well, firstly, people are mainly pointing out that you can't ruin something that's already ruined.
Low.
And also, you see that Triple H is going to be joining the Bullet Club for the Japan tour.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
Speaking of
Tamatonga.
Not quite. The AJ Styles collab.
So just the club.
The club.
Yes. Well, it's WWE's Bullet Club. Who do you think they're facing in four-man tag action?
Oh, I've seen this, but I've seen this, and I genuinely can't remember what the four names are.
The Lucha House Party.
No.
And Lars.
We're talking about mid-card here, so who do you reckon?
Oh, Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elias.
No.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn.
Samoa Joe.
It's unfortunate he's lumped in with the rest of them there.
Close there. Anyway, we'll start with our super chats with Sean Dunn, who says, Baron to retire The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match.
God, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, surely they need to re-retire The Undertaker.
You see that Chris Jericho tweeted to say, Goldberg and Undertaker are still better than most.
He's a heel. He's working you.
Come on, Chris. Michael Dominguez says, yesterday was my 2-year anniversary with my lady friend Elsa.
Congratulations.
Let it go.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember any.
Love is an open door, but that's not actually Elsa. Robert Johnston says, here's some money from a colossal moron.
Oh, cheers, Rob.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. If you are, own it.
Yeah. Tim Arndt says, if the reports about Vince knowing that WWE is broken are true, do you think Vince has taken on a defeatist mindset about it?
No, I think he'll probably just wait. He'll go, it's broken. Let's come up with some ideas and we'll relaunch in September.
Yeah.
Just before the Fox deal and AEW launch.
That sounds a lot more like Vince.
Vernon Jeffries says, it was only 3 years ago when Shane McMahon returned and we thought he was going to make WWE better. Good times.
I don't think I ever said that.
No, I don't think I ever thought he was going to make WWE better. I was just excited because it was a cool return.
Because he was never involved in behind-the-scenes stuff. Still isn't.
Yeah.
Very much only an on-air personality.
Yeah. Cool. Limps Tomo's number 2 fan says, I don't actually know who number 1 fan is for Tomo, but we'll
probably Tomo.
Possibly. Or his mother.
Or you.
No.
Love Tomo.
Tomo's great.
Tomo
is great. The rating system for Raw and SmackDown should just be watchable or not. Cheers, Swaff Nation.
Yeah, I mean, more nuance, I think. I'm going to start doing percentages.
Oh, here we go. With decimal points as well?
Yeah.
Extra precise.
Yeah.
2 decimal places?
It'll be like pi. Just a never-ending sequence of numbers.
Yeah, perfect.
Speaking of words with the prefix of did you see that a lot of, apparently, WWE stars said that the conditions in Saudi Arabia were pretty much unworkable and unbearable.
It's in the news today.
Check it out later.
It's just a preview for you there. Jobber JJ says, I died when Shane just repeated Sammy's lines.
Well, I mean, like, on paper it's a funny joke, but I didn't think it was a well-delivered joke.
I got so much as a... That was my reaction to it.
Sami Zayn, very good.
Oh, he's great.
Very funny.
Love Sami.
But Shane is really, really a charisma vacuum.
Yeah. Wasn't great.
Something in Japanese says, did you guys catch New Japan Dominion? Never want to see Naito versus Ibushi again. Gonna give an old man a heart attack. Dragon Lee's dive was move of the night.
Oh my God, that dive.
Dragon Lee's dive was absurd.
But the neck bump, though.
Yeah.
That-
If you haven't seen that dive, though, really, if you think Ember Moon's dives are fierce, this is like...
He's an actual torpedo.
Yeah.
He just... It's ridiculous how much speed and distance he gets on it.
It's quite something. And yeah, the Naito Ibushi thing, we can't criticize Goldberg Taker for saying that match should have been stopped without saying the same thing about Ibushi Naito. It was a very reckless thing. They effectively, Naito did a German suplex on Ibushi on the apron.
A snap German suplex, nonetheless.
And whatever they were going for still is not a good idea.
I think they were just going for back first, and then they just did slightly to the side.
And so Ibushi's neck, or head, back of his head, hit the apron on the way down and bent in this horrible direction. Brian Alvarez
awful.
has been quite adamant in saying no one should praise this match because it will harm those wrestlers in the long run and the industry as a whole because people will only try and copy those spots.
Exactly.
Yes. Ryan B. Bad says Vince is the one ruining WWE. I had more interest in the NBA Finals game than I did for Raw, and I'm not a basketball fan at all.
Yeah, and so that
I think I was as well.
the idea is that this episode will get slaughtered. So it was Game 5 of Warriors versus Raptors.
It was,
Yes.
and because the Warriors won, I think that probably made it even more. It was 1 point in it at the end, so it was a very exciting match. So probably not a lot of people watching.
Yeah, chances are not many people tuned in for that. I think it was in Toronto as well, I want to say.
Yeah.
So it was like hometown for Raptors, I think, right? And
So-
that makes it even, bigger event.
When I was watching this show, I felt like WWE phoned it in. And WWE are well known for, if they think they're not going to have a good night anyway, no one's going to watch, so we'll just phone it in, we'll do the big stuff next week, which is such a bad mindset.
It's terrible.
Don't you want to reward the people who stick around and watch your product over anything else?
No, of course they don't. Why would they ever do that?
Adam Cosbab says, welcome back to catering, Hawkins and Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a run.
They were the third piece of the triple threat match, and they were the champions going into it. It's the Raw Tag Team Championships now are a story piece between Revival and Usos.
I'd say Shane was a third piece, and then they were somewhere else.
But I mean, the championships are now just a story piece between Revival and Usos, and Hawkins and Ryder were there to lose the titles. Like, they just had the switch at WrestleMania to have a WrestleMania moment, and now there's no follow up to it.
Jeffrey Irizarry says this year Survivor Series will be Team Omni Shane with the mid-card of Evil, McIntyre, Lashley, Corbin versus Team Reigns with Miz, Strowman and Ricochet.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Ollie, you're going to have to help me with his name. It's Block something.
Is it Blinny?
Is it Blake Ham?
Blinny the Ham Man, Hammy Ham?
Yes.
Yeah.
Blinny the Ham Man, Hanny Ham.
Yeah. Blimmy the Hand Man, Hanny Han says, is Holly shave your arms ruining WrestleTalk? Yes.
I don't know who that is.
Not a clue.
I
Don't know
don't
who
know.
could we talking about.
Is it a Luke joke? Because Luke isn't here?
Yeah, it must be. Luke has got very hairy arms.
don't know.
Must be some sort of obscure movie reference that I don't get.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. It's a stupid comment
Or
from a
something
stupid
like
person.
with, someone wearing a Sonic t-shirt or something like
Yeah.
that. Danny, your boy DeVito, says, the Omni Shane. Hi, Pete.
Hi.
KJ says, Lacey's finisher is trash. People do closed fists in wrestling all the time. At least with Big Show, his hand is the size of a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come on to this.
Yeah.
It's... Bayley effectively
bad.
no-sold a women's right as well.
Essentially, yes.
Because I think she's like, I was just punched.
Yeah.
Because there's no difference.
No, exactly. And the commentators no sold it as well because they didn't realise either.
No.
So, yeah, it's bad.
Tomo says,
Hello.
Shane McMahon versus Baron Corbin in Baron Corbin in a mid-card on a pole match. Baron will take most of the match, and Shane's sweat will help him help him slip out of a rest hold, kick Corbin out the ring, and retrieve the true mid-card of Evil.
Yeah. I like Baron Carbon.
Baron
Baron Carbon Dioxide.
You can't breathe
Bad for the
with him
environment. Jobber JJ496 says, when SmackDown Live starts on Fox, Shane and Baron will be the top champions. Not prediction, just a spoiler.
A threat, as Paul Heyman
Threat.
said. Yeah.
A guarantee.
Yeah.
William Adams says the mid-card of evil is like the Legion of Doom, the DC cartoon version.
Oh, but the Legion of Doom is good. That's like top-tier villains right there.
See,
Talking
wouldn't-
Lex.
I wouldn't know.
Meanwhile, in the Legion
Sometimes a
of Doom,
Joker.
Those are two names that I recognise.
There you
Must be good.
are they the
Captain
ones who
Cold.
lived- are they the ones who lived under a lake?
I don't know.
Which
Super
Family Guy.
villains live under a lake.
Jason Sullivan says, when do you think Shane's reign will end? An injury, WWE title, Fox deal, McIntyre turning on Shane?
He's not got many more matches left in him, is the thing. I think Shane is just WWE's holding pattern until they fully start putting effort in again, which I think will be post SummerSlam. So maybe it'll all culminate at
optimistic.
SummerSlam and then it'll be written out. Hopefully.
That is optimistic.
Ollie's always optimistic.
Yeah.
Timothy Snyder, thank you very much for your generous donation.
Thanks, Timothy.
Thank you.
Raw34 says Corbin is getting his stuff sorted, playing that crowd like a hero.
He got a lot of heat from San Jose.
He did. And
Yeah.
again, I think in isolation, Corbin's a very good heel.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just overexposed to the point where he's now got go-away heat on him because people have just seen too much of him. In isolation, though, if he's on one segment per week, I think he's a really good heel.
Yeah.
I really like
totally
him.
agree.
Aaron Downey says, I skipped most of Raw and I was still bored, sad face.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It is a very boring show, unfortunately.
Yeah, just watch Firefly Fun House.
Yeah. On repeat for 3 hours.
Austin Baker says, Wonder Ollie, say you love my girlfriend Megan.
I love your girlfriend Megan.
That's a bit weird.
Hey.
Hey, everyone loves Austin's girlfriend Megan, if we're all honest about it.
That was also really weird.
Chilling with Macmillan.
You made that more
says,
You made that so much weirder.
guess y'all can't say country redacted anymore.
Yeah, well, no, they
Yeah.
said Saudi Arabia on this show.
did.
They did
Yeah.
during Super Showdown as well.
Yep.
Because they were like, okay, fine, we are here.
Oh my God, Jeddah's in Saudi Arabia! Why didn't anyone tell us that?
Did you
That's
know?
the controversial one.
I didn't realise I was going through customs. Sparks Entertainment says, there goes the ratings, Shane's newest theme.
There goes the
ratings!
There goes
Ratings
the-
drop.
Ratings
Ratings
drop.
Zachary Marsh says, I'm so done with Wildcard. I enjoy women's wrestling. It's so stale now. Just the same people every week. Where's Liv, Naomi, Sarah, Dana? Just want better.
Yes, yeah, totally agree.
I think that goes across the entire company, but particular the women's division has suffered since Ronda's not there, and with the wild card now, it's just like a double whammy of things that are making the women's division terrible.
Yeah.
We got one more?
One more.
One more.
I will find it. Chris Blank says it's 11:30 p.m. and I'm staying up because you lads are just too entertaining.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Chris
you.
Blanks. So, Raw itself opened with the Seth Rollins promo that we've already gone through, blah, blah, blah.
Just one quick thing that Seth said in this promo that I found quite entertaining was him saying, no one has ever done what I did to Lesnar at Super Showdown.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have. They absolutely definitely have. Like, if you beat someone down with a chair, just look at, like, the Hardy Boys versus Lesnar. When Jeff does that brutal chair shot to Lesnar's head, that's much worse than what Rollins did. But that's fine. We'll just ignore everything else that he's done before his last run.
See, mine was more recent. I thought Braun Strowman pulled down half a stage on
did.
Brock Lesnar. And Kane. So
And
maybe
Kane.
it was like Seth Rollins' caveat. Since Brock came back individually. But yeah, all the stuff happened. Baron said that there's going to be the special guest referee stipulation that he'll get to pick for their Stomping Ground Universal title match. Stomping Ground is still a stupid name and has a worse logo.
The tagline. The tagline for this event is so bad.
Take ass and beat names.
Yeah. And they said it consistently throughout the show. It's like it's the full title now. It's literally, they just have to say, wait, I've got it written down here somewhere. There it is. The full name is now Stomping Grounds Time to Kick Ass and Take Names. And they just said it as like a whole word and then went on to the next bit. Like, Stomping Grounds, Time to Kick Ass and Take Names is where Becky
like
Lynch...
Roadblock, isn't it? End of the line.
Yeah, Roadblock End of the Line. At least that was the actual name of the show, though, because they had
Roadblock :
End of the Line. This isn't Stomping Grounds : Time to Kick Ass and Take Names, but they just say the tagline consistently. It's like the WrestleMania equivalent they were doing for Super Showdown.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's very stilted. Then we got Lars Sullivan versus Lucha House Party in a rematch from Super Showdown, where it was a elimination match this time round.
Yes.
So at Super Showdown, and that was a crap show. It was a boring show. It was a botched show.
Very much so.
But I think the worst piece of booking, fundamentally, was Lars and Lucha House Party. In that it is so easy. If you look at Vince McMahon and you think, you know what? We say a lot of things about you, but my God, you know how to book a big sweaty man. Mm-hmm. He even screwed that up here. He overthought it, I think. And you have all of Lucha House Party gang up on Lars to the extent where they are DQ'd. Lars wins his debut match, no less. But it's when the Lucha House Party are beating him up. So like, okay, well, maybe Lars is going to come back as a babyface and he'll beat them up on Monday. No, because Sullivan then beat them all up that same night. So why not just have him win in the first place? This match was what they should have done on Friday.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because he looked awesome.
Yeah.
But it's come at the point now where I'm tired of seeing Lars and Lucha House Party in this eternal feud of getting him over.
Yeah, it's no fun to see the same thing over and over again. So as great as this is, it's just been completely undermined by the fact we've seen something similar for a long time.
Yeah.
Like a month?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been. It's been a long time.
But Lars pinned the first two guys really quickly.
Yeah.
And then he went to pin the third guy. I can't remember which order these
I've got
guys.
them written down if you would like
Hey,
them.
hit me up.
He pinned Kalisto first. Kalisto went for like a crossbody, caught him, hit a freak accident. Then Lince Dorado came in, went for a springboard hurricanrana, caught him, running powerbomb, pinned him. And then it was Grand Metalik was last. He just kind of threw it. He didn't really do a freak accident. He just kind of threw him to the ground and then broke up the pin. Then went to go beat up Kalisto some more. Threw him in a really savage spot. This was horrible to watch. It was really nice. He kind of threw him at like a power slam type thing. On his back, hit the top of the stairs where the piñatas were as well, breaking the piñatas with his back on the fall, and he kind of just like rolled off the stairs. It was horrible.
I hope
really
the
hard to
piñata
watch.
was just made of a
Paper
cushion.
mache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sick bump. It looked awesome.
Yeah, it looked really
Yeah.
good, which made Lars look awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes back in the ring, hits another move, can't remember which one, probably a freak accident, on Grand Metalik, breaks up the pin again, goes back outside, gets Lince Dorado, throws him into the ring post on the outside, which also looked brutal, possibly because it didn't quite get enough distance, so Lince kind of put his head out to try and make sure he hit, and then missed, and then kind of almost hit his head straight on the floor. Still looked cool anyway. And then he gets back in the ring, hits a diving headbutt, stop doing diving headbutts, on Grand Metalik, and finally gets the win.
Yeah.
He looked so dominant and so great. Why not do that in Super Showdown? I don't get it.
Or just do that, a month ago.
Yeah,
And quickly
even
move
better.
on to something else.
Even better. Never have that match at Super Showdown in the first place.
So this was great, but it was all. We've already given up on this, so
Yeah, exactly.
It's unfortunate. Then we got the start of another sub-narrative throughout the night, the 24/7 title, where R-Truth is being chased by the Undertaker. The undercard.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Into a lift, and loads of people pile into the lift, but then the lift closes, and the referee's outside. So there's no way anyone can win the title. But because there's so many people in the lift, or elevator, it breaks.
Yeah.
And the doors won't open. So in there we've got Truth and Carmella, obviously, EC3, Cedric Alexander, Heath Slater, and Drake Maverick. Mm-hmm. And they're stuck there for the rest of the show. And they had like a surveillance cam, black and white, in the top corner filming them all. It was very funny.
It was. It was.
This was good.
And in the first segment, everyone kind of rushed to Truth while he was waiting for the elevator to come, and he was like, you guys need a referee. Go get a referee. And they're like, oh god, we do need a referee. So they all kind of turn, which gives Truth time to get into the elevator, which was quite funny. And then when they get in and the elevator breaks, Heath Slater just goes, I can't be in here, I've got kids. It was like, people still get their character lines in and made it funny, even when it wasn't just like the focus on Truth. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed this throughout the night.
Yeah.
Then we got Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans having the split-screen interview, like a Skype call. And it's similar to how Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar did their really good ones about 2 years ago.
Or even when Becky Lynch and Charlotte did their one straight after she debuted the man character. And I was like, oh, they're doing another sit-down thing. Possibly, this could be really good. Because when Becky first started talking to Charlotte in this sit-down interview, that was when she fully got over the character. And then there was that great line where Charlotte was talking, she just goes, screw you, like in the middle of like the promo. It was really good and felt natural. This wasn't that. It was really bad. It was just a promo. It was just a scripted promo, and they just said, one person said their bit, the other person said their bit, said their bit, said their bit. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was really boring, really anticlimactic, and very, very scripted.
I didn't hate it as much as you did. I just thought it was totally forgettable. There was nothing special about it at all.
I think it was because I built my expectations up, because I was like, oh, sit-down interview. This is at least something different. We could get Becky, like, putting across her character again, and it was all just, like, really samey, boring nonsense.
I thought this
deflated.
was... Yeah, I thought the way they advertised it earlier in the night, I thought this was going to be a bigger part of the show. But actually, it was just a bit to build up the tag match later on. But we did see a bit of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
We did.
What's their combined name? Relinch.
Rollins.
Rollins.
Seki.
Definitely not Seki. Beth.
Leth.
Beth.
Lins.
Beth.
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 Beth together.
Beth Rollins.
Beth friends. So Seth was like saying, yeah, you can, don't worry, you'll have a good promo.
This will be great.
Before. Yeah. But then we got something I thought was a lot worse. Alexa Bliss and Bayley not Bayley, Nikki Cross backstage.
Yeah.
And Alexa, despite being a total babyface last Raw, but a total heel last Tuesday, she's now back to being a total babyface to Nikki Cross and the total heel about Bayley. And you might go, God, that's a difficult thing to pull off, even for an established trained actor. I'm saying, yeah, you're correct, and Alexa Bliss didn't do that.
No.
It just came across as, I am one character now with this motivation. I'm a different character now with this motivation.
Yeah.
It's not a well-told story.
Not at all.
I think it's rubbish. Like I said, I've said it before, this is an example of the story driving characters, which is the wrong way it should be. It should be characters driving story. So WWE are just going, we'll grab you, Nikki Cross, even though your character makes no sense in this, and you're now Alexa's friend. Yeah, have at it.
Perfect. We'll make a story out of it, which they haven't because it's terrible. But there was the one bit out of this that I just hated about this segment was Bliss was talking about Bayley being a master manipulator and saying just like, oh, she'll only talk to you when she wants something, and NXT she made me feel like I wasn't welcome and all that stuff. For me, that's just Bliss talking about herself. Bliss is the heel, and she's going to portray Cross, right? One would assume, based on the history of Alexa Bliss and what she's done in rivalries, she's probably going to turn on Cross at some point. Which then begs the question, why is Cross talking to her? Cross should know. Does she watch the product? That's the second time I've said that about this show. Like, surely she should know that Bliss cannot be trusted. Why is she hanging out with her? Why is she believing what she says? I hate everything about this.
It's very lazy.
It makes everyone look stupid.
Like, it's not even like Nikki Cross has to have watched the last couple of years of main roster TV. She just had to watch SmackDown last week, where it's quite obvious what she's doing.
Yeah.
Then we got Miz TV with Samoa Joe.
Before that, we had a recap package of Super Showdown.
Yeah, they had these.
And then Cole comes in and says WWE is the only form of sports entertainment that is totally cross-cultural in every country in the world, including Saudi Arabia this past Friday.
Yeah, they must have left that in before the women's match was scrapped. Do you not get the updated copy?
That is the most WWE thing I've ever heard in my life.
More than the Stomping Ground tagline.
More than the Stomping Ground tagline. This is WWE PR nonsense thrown in. The only form of sports entertainment that is totally cross-cultural. No, it isn't.
It just rolls off the tongue, Pete.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It boggles my mind how stupid that phrase is.
Then we got Miz TV, where Samoa Joe was the guest. and Miz was speaking to Joe sort of in defense of Rey Mysterio here, because last week Samoa Joe beat up Rey when Rey relinquished his US title because of a shoulder injury. He never did it because he actually unfairly beat Joe.
Yeah.
They briefly acknowledged it, but that's not what happened.
No.
But Miz said in his promo, like, why did you think it was okay to beat up Rey last week when he, had to relinquish the title because of his shoulder injury, and he acknowledged that he didn't beat you.
Yeah.
So WWE have just written that in now.
Yeah. It's just them rewriting history like they do all the time. They're just like, we can just say this and people will believe us.
I think Mysterio probably mucked up that
Possibly.
promo then, looking back on it, because it felt weird at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Samoa Joe started to talk about Dominic, and Miz was like, hey, you shouldn't bring people's families into it. And I thought, well, isn't that exactly what you did with a lot of your feuds, like the John Cena, Total Bella stuff, and the Daniel Bryan stuff?
I mean, if you look at recent history and his feud with Shane McMahon, and don't look any further back, that makes total sense.
Well, yeah, all you have to do is say, I used to be like that, Joe.
Yeah.
I've learnt from those mistakes.
Exactly.
Rather than, again, just completely ignoring the vast majority of Miz's character development.
Yeah.
So
Absurd.
yeah, it's lazily written.
One line from Corey Graves as well, when Samoa Joe was coming out, he called Samoa Joe potentially unstoppable.
Oh, potentially.
Potentially unstoppable.
Big
Again,
words.
have you watched WWE in ever? He gets rolled up like every other week.
He's unstoppable until surprise roll up.
Surprise roll up.
Oh,
you got me so well. Yeah, it was
so
ridiculous.
Miz and Joe were about to get into it when Braun Strowman's music hit. Rah. And then Braun Strowman's feuding with who? Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's music hit. And then Ricochet's music hit. Who's Ricochet feuding with? Cesaro. Cesaro's music hit. I wrote Cesaro down way before. As soon as Ricochet's music hit, I wrote down Cesaro.
Literally, my note says Ricochet comes out. What's the betting Cesaro comes out next?
Yeah. And they all came out and they were sort of saying, we all deserve a US title shot. And I thought, okay. Well, I'm not a fan, really, of having another multi-man match for a mid-card title. I feel like the US title, and Joe's reign of it in particular, deserves something more. But I like Ricochet. I like Cesaro. I'm kind of happy that they're just in this mix.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. It turned into a six-man tag, players.
Yeah.
But it was a very fun six-man tag.
It was a very fun six-man tag. So as soon as the six people came out, I wrote, smells like a six-man tag match player. And then called it straight afterwards. But the match was really fun. It started off with Strowman and Lashley, and almost immediately in the match, Strowman gets taken down and then does a full kip up back to his feet. And I was like, okay. Like, I know he's done like a half one before. I think he was feuding with Big Show like way back when, and he did like a half one where he was kind of like still leaned over and Big Show had to pull him up the rest of the way. But this one, that was a full Braun Strowman kip up, and I was like, that looks really cool. And then they started doing some off-the-rope stuff, and he did a combat roll over Lashley, and I was like, Strowman's good.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down, this might be fun, this match. What is this? And then there's like a big leapfrog from Lashley, and I was like, this is really fun, this is cool.
It's sort of off their Super Showdown match, where they did a bit of that athletic stuff there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then I wrote, just kidding, it's an ad break.
Yeah.
Just to ruin all my fun.
But then it came back and sort of Ricochet and Cesaro were getting into it. And they for me, have been the MVPs of the in-ring side of Raw for the last month. Even though I wish they would work with other people and then come back together. Their chemistry is something else. And Samoa Joe's just awesome in most areas. And Miz is the Miz.
Miz did a springboard double axe handle in this match. Miz never does springboard anything.
But he does do double axe
He
handles.
does double axe handles.
It's Randy's favourite move.
The worst move in professional wrestling.
I hate it so much.
Crown me.
We were talking about this when we went to Defiant, I think it was, wasn't it? So we went up to the top rope and you were like, I swear to God, if they do a double axe handle, and then they did it, and you said, boo! You just hated it so much. It's great.
But this was a fun match. A really long Cesaro swing as well on Miz.
Ages.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the finish was a bit botched. And Cesaro is really lucky off the back of it. So Miz hit a skull-crushing finale on Cesaro.
Yep.
Ricochet gets up to do the 630. And Ricochet starts off in the right place. Like, he's jumped off, he's going to go down onto Cesaro's torso.
Yeah.
But maybe, I guess when you're rotating that fast and that many times, just a slight bit of body weight distribution on the wrong side will careen you off.
Absolutely.
And that seems to be what happened, because he starts off going one way and then he drifts slightly to the left and he comes down back first, all that weight, all that momentum onto Cesaro's knee.
There was a fan video on Twitter of Cesaro being helped at the back by several referees. So
Indeed,
it
yes.
might be worse than it looked.
Well,
Yeah.
he immediately grabbed his knee in pain. You could see it really hurt. Like, even when the pin was going on, even when the pin was happening, and you think he'd, like, at least, like, you know, sell the move, get the pin over, and then you can hold your knee afterwards. No, he was straight to it, just like, no, this really hurts. You could see the pain immediately. Ricochet gets the pin to win. I think the commentators thought that Cesaro got his knees up, because the commentators were like, oh, straight across the knees. And it was like, and then he wins. But then immediately Cesaro rolls out the ring, still clutching his knee straight afterwards, and the referees swarm to him to get it looked at, because that looked painful, to say the least.
And Cesaro's got from what I understand, has a very high pain tolerance. So when he shows actual pain, you're like, oh crap. And Cesaro's one of my favorites, and he's had a short shrift of things, and the bar breaks up. He's starting to get a bit of momentum. If he was to get injured now, I was. This took me out the entire show, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was worried about Cesaro, but then, reports from both Ryan Satin and Dave Meltzer say that he is okay.
Yes.
Which is just like, but it could have been worse.
Absolutely, yeah.
So very lucky there.
Got off very, very lucky with that one. I read that the crowd were actually quite into, like, the hot tags in this match. For,
Well, it was a fun match,
Braun and Miz and stuff. Like, they were quite into it.
Well,
was nice.
I thought the San Jose crowd was really good all night, actually.
Yeah.
They're usually a hot crowd for wrestling,
They are.
which segues us into the next match, because we've got Alexa Bliss and Lacey Evans versus Becky Lynch and hometown gal Bayley, which means, Pete,
Bayley loses.
Bayley's getting pinned.
Yeah. So I wrote that note immediately. I said Becky and Bayley versus Alexa and Lacey. Bayley's hometown, so she's losing.
Yeah.
First note I wrote.
That's where Bayley won in San Jose once.
Nope.
I swear she won the belt once there.
Nope. She lost the belt to Alexa Bliss in San Jose.
Oh.
Yeah, that was part of when Alexa Bliss killed all Bayley momentum.
Yeah.
And you got to think, like, sometimes it happens so often. But wrestlers getting beaten in their hometowns by WWE.
Yeah.
Even me, I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But then on Friday, the only good part of Super Showdown was Mansoor winning the Battle Royal.
Yep.
And that's a sort of thing where the potential of a star being born that night just based on the crowd reaction. Buddy Murphy winning the Cruiserweight title at Super Showdown in Australia.
Yeah.
Is it just a Super Showdown thing?
I think it
where
must
people
be.
get to win in their hometown?
Hyphen or not, that's the hometown show.
But, like, it really does work. You put over people in their hometown because the crowd will react huge to it just because it's just the way people are. I do it if I hear someone's from Britain.
Yeah,
Part
exactly.
of the reason I love Jimmy Havoc is because he came from down the road from me. So you've got, why not use that to build up stars and have next week maybe the crowd that go and see Bayley will go, I feel like she's more of a star because of the reaction from the last thing. I'll cheer her more. But it just cuts people off because heel heat.
Exactly,
And that's what
yeah.
happened here. But this was a much better match than the women's matches last week on Raw. But that's kind of damning with faint praise.
Yeah.
I really was concerned for Alexa Bliss for a long time because she had all those concussions and she wasn't wrestling. And she'd come back, but she wouldn't really do anything. So now I'm in a state where all I have to do is see Bliss wrestle,
Yep.
and I'm happy
Yeah.
because I'm happy for her. I don't want anyone to have to retire early. And after the whole Paige stuff, so yeah, I quite enjoyed this match actually.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I'll steal Luke's phrase because he's not here. It was fine.
Yeah,
Full stop. There's a couple of things about this match, though. I know we've mentioned it 17 million times at this point, but I can't remember which commentator said it, but they said, Bayley takes advantage of the wildcard rule to be in her hometown of San Jose. So, Bayley in control of the wildcard? Did she get to choose? Or did they book the match after they found out that Bayley was going to be there? Or did they book it in advance and then ask Bayley to come? What are the rules?
Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon. It's the Omni Shane. And then the other thing was, you say that thing about Alexa Bliss. It's nice to see her wrestle. And yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm also on edge because anytime she takes a bump, I'm like, oh God, oh no, don't do that. There was a nasty looking bump in this match where Bayley does almost like a sunset powerbomb, but on flat surface. So she rolls over Bliss and then powerbombs her into a turnbuckle, and Bliss's head just kind of like snaps back onto the turnbuckle. And I was like, don't do that with her concussion. Stop it. Please protect her.
They mentioned that on The Observer. Like, really, that's because agents will book this match out almost spot for spot.
Yeah.
Whoever decided that was a good idea to do that to someone with a history of concussions just this year.
Yeah.
Very ill advised.
Exactly. Yeah. That was all I had to say about this match in particular was those two things. And I would think that the point of this match, having the two contenders for the two titles going against the two champions, you can tease the match that you're going to get at the pay-per-view by having Evans and Becky in the match and Bayley and Bliss in the match. But then you have the cross wrestlers wrestle each other, so you don't get the pay-per-view match on the tag match. They didn't do that. They just had Becky versus Evans and Bliss versus Bayley during pretty much the entire match. And I was like, well, now we've just seen the matches again. Like,
I don't think they've got anything against doing Becky and Evans forever.
I know, yeah.
And I said it, folks. I said that was one of the reasons I didn't want Evans to face Becky coming out of WrestleMania, because they'll just be stuck in an eternal loop.
Yep.
And Luke was like, no, it'll be good.
It'll be fine.
It'll build someone up other than Charlotte. I wish it was Charlotte now. So my issue with this, and we spoke about it in the Super Chats, is when is a punch and when is it a women's right? Because Lacey hit a women's right on Becky outside. That took Becky out.
Yeah.
Okay. But then she just punched Bayley.
Yeah.
When Bayley was hanging out the ring. Bayley rolled inside. Alexa went to do Twisted Bliss, but Bayley got her knees up and just jumped up afterwards.
Yeah.
So I was like, so was that a women's right that Lacey threw? Because Bayley's certainly not selling it like it is.
Nope.
And then you're like, okay, well, what makes a women's right and not just a punch? And then Lacey hit another one, and that was the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit pants.
You really have to protect a punch in the match to make it mean something.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe she powers up or something.
I don't know.
Or it's like a real straight arm one.
And I think I've only seen her do so many women's rights, and I think I can recognize it when she does it. But when she does it in a scenario that's slightly different, like when Bayley's hanging out of the ring or some of that, or she's just run in and she's doing it this way, then you can't recognize it because she changes the way she's doing it, and then it's just a punch. So if she has a signature way of doing it, she has to do that signature way of doing it every single time. And it's not distinctive enough to make it different from a punch the way it is now. Fix it. Give her a different finisher.
Other than that, though, I thought Lacey was pretty good in this match.
She was all right, yeah. She was cool.
Then we got the Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon stuff backstage. Then we got, congratulations, John Cena, for joining Fast and Furious 9's cast.
So, this is a joke I made on Screenstock, but I'll do it again here. So this is Rock vs. Cena 3 confirmed then. So thrice in a lifetime. That confirmed?
Maybe not. Well, the idea is Rock the Dwayne Johnson has gone to make Hobbs & Shaw, which is out in August. I'm so excited.
I'm not.
Why not?
It's got Roman Reigns in it.
Who are?
Okay, I'll watch it because it's dumb and stupid and big action sequences, but I won't enjoy it.
Quite smart.
Is it?
Honestly, the action sequences of Fast and Furious are very intelligently laid out. There's always three. Sit down with me, and we'll watch Fast and Furious 5 with the heist scene at the end.
When they completely ignore what friction is.
Hey, look, it's a superhero movie.
It's very intelligently laid out.
But storytelling-wise, they'll have 3 different strains going through it to cross-cut and build tension. They're masterfully constructed.
I'm not questioning the filmmaking aspect of it. I'm talking about physics and how they work in the Fast and Furious world. Because Vin Diesel flying through a car, catching someone in midair, and a car cushioning his landing makes no sense because it's a car.
Isn't your favourite movie Kingsman: Secret Service? Which
but
has got
that's
some of
different.
The most ridiculous physics in it of any film ever.
But the Fast and Furious franchise hasn't set up ridiculous physics. It's just like,
it has.
This is serious about street racing and cars, and now suddenly people are flying through the air. It's too jarring.
It's a superhero movie.
Kingsman sets it up from the off.
From Fast and Furious 5 onwards, or maybe even 4. Fast and Furious.
4.
Fast and Furious.
Tokyo Drift was 3.
Cool. So from 4 onwards, when The Rock comes in.
Rock was in 5. But
Okay.
4 was like the transition.
From
between.
5 onwards, each movie has slowly ramped up the amount of insanity in it.
Yes, they
it's
have.
like Game of Thrones. you don't kick off with the dragon, do you? You build it slowly over a series, and then by the end, it's like full-on magic. It drip feeds the idea of this world to you. That's what Fast and Furious did. You've got to separate that opening quadrilogy from what James 1 did. I think it was James 1.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I
or
don't
Justin
know.
Lang.
See, I have issue with that because I bloody love Too Fast, Too Furious. It's genuinely a film I've watched so many times because I just really like street racing and cars and stuff like that. And then they just didn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Well.
This was a tangent.
So congratulations, John Cena. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Fast and Furious.
So obviously Hobbs and Shaw is coming out. That's a Rock film.
Yes.
And apparently a lot of the Fast and Furious cast are annoyed with The Rock for going to make that film when they need everyone to make the Fast and Furious movies. So their next Fast and Furious movie has been delayed.
Yeah.
That means they're not going to get paid more for a while. So they were just like, well, no, we'll get someone else then. John Cena.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a work. It probably is a work, but it's quite a fun bit of backstage gossip.
Oh, yeah, for
stuff
sure.
Outside of the world of wrestling. Then we got Paul Heyman coming out to cut a promo. So he started to explain how Brock Lesnar, against Heyman's advice, didn't just cash in on Rollins last Monday when Rollins was laid out, beaten with a chair.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so you're going to at least make an effort to explain it. But then he just filibustered his way out and said, well, now we're not going to tell you when we're going to cash it in. It's like, how is this different from all the other Money in the Bank winners?
Literally, the point of the briefcase is you get to pick and choose when you cash it in. It's any place, any time. So that's the benefit you have of winning the match, is that you get to choose when it is and you don't have to tell anyone when you can cash it in. They're putting this as a selling point when it's the norm.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's literally like, do you like this laptop? It has a screen. Like, yeah, thanks. Like, oh god, it really frustrated me when he started saying that.
Yeah, this was, and Paul Heyman is usually a saving grace of the Brock storylines. No matter how wacky they are, Paul can always cut a good promo. I thought this was obviously well delivered, but content-wise was really, really problematic. Apart from the end where he did his usual, he teased that Brock might cash in whenever. And he said he'll beat down Rollins so bad it would violate the PG era of WWE. And he said a few other things.
Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of tired of Paul Heyman promos.
Yeah,
they're really well delivered. He's a fantastic promo by all means, but it's the same promo with different words every time, and it's the kind of same thing as Bray Wyatt when it's just words at this point. I'm listening, but I'm not really listening because I know he's just going to say Brock Lesnar the Beast. Eat, sleep, conquer, repeat. It's some other catchphrase that he's got, but it's the same thing every single time. And I just don't get invested anymore in it at all, which sucks because he's great.
So Paul Heyman, one of the greatest promos of all time.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, an incredible promo.
Yeah.
Even they can't keep us engaged if they're doing the same stuff week after week.
No.
What chance does Shane McMahon have? Then we got the 24/7 stuff again, still in the lift. Truth says, I don't want to lose to Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
And Drake Maverick says, I'm not Hornswoggle, I'm just a very small man.
I can relate to that.
The Iconics beat some jobbers. Did you write their names down?
Did they have names? They just
did.
said San Jose. Oh, no, they did say their names. No, I didn't write their names down.
It doesn't really matter.
No.
But this was an extension of the Iconics beating jobber acts that they started about 6 weeks ago that they haven't done since. And I just thought this was good because you let the Iconics do what they're very good at, and that's cutting promos, which they did at the start of this match. Then they got to beat these jobbers in a minute, like in a matter of minutes, to get their moves over, but don't get exposed by having an actual wrestling match. And then they get a win. And sure, it's not a super credible win, but sometimes you just need these wins and you can go, oh, I'm actually looking forward to the eventual match. But they haven't done that. They've lost every single time. So it's kind of similar with the Lars Lucha stuff. This was good, but you've already run this into the ground
Yeah.
with other bits you've done.
I'm not sure whether I'm just picking it up on this show or they do it a lot on shows and I just haven't noticed before. For some reason on this show, I felt like they really wanted to mention the fact they were in San Jose a lot. Because like Rollins mentioned it in his opening promo. He goes, "Oh, what's up, San Jose?" And then they had talking about Bayley and her hometown being San Jose and talking about, they mentioned that loads of times during the match. And then they said, "Oh, these two people that are going to be facing today, they're San Jose's finest." And then they put it through in that. I was like, why are they talking about San Jose so much? It was really strange to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I picked up on it this time. Maybe they do it a lot and I just haven't noticed. But
No, you're
some
right.
reason-
They did.
yeah, it was very strange. I don't know why they do that. But anyway.
Then we got a Reigns promo after Super Showdown where he says he's coming for Drew McIntyre, and that led into the Shane McMahon celebration, and then the Revival's tag team title win.
Also, someone animated a graphic of WWE having more Facebook followers than all the other sports promotion. Why?
They said,
Why waste your time?
and it said like dominate at the top, didn't it?
It did.
That's a bit weird.
Dominate. We have more Facebook followers than sports people. Look how great we are.
And then we got the final part of the 24/7 title bit, which was really funny, I thought. This was the funniest of the bunch. That it cuts to the lift surveillance shot, and they're just talking about how Drake Maverick's going to get married soon, and they're talking about love and how to have a successful marriage.
Yeah.
And then they all start to become friends a little bit. And R-Truth starts to say, "Hey, should we sing We Are Family?" But then the doors open, and then they all have to have a mad
And the
scramble
referee's there. That's great. And he gets dragged back in the elevator from Carmella. Doesn't get pinned, doesn't lose his title, but Carmella just drags him back into the elevator, and he manages to get away just in time.
Yeah.
So it
This
was fun.
good. This was funny.
It was funny.
But then we got the Firefly Fun House, which was spectacular.
It was.
So as a quick recap of what happened, starts with Bray Wyatt putting up a sign on the door that says, "Abandon all hope, ye who exit here." Then he finds Mercy, the buzzard, trying to eat Rambly Rabbit. And he says, "You get to go on the stand, Rambly Rabbit, to say your point." So Rambly Rabbit has like this sort of mock court thing where he issues a statement and he says, I'm going to expose what's happening here, what's really happening at Firefly Fun House. And that's when Bray grabs Rambling Rabbit's mouth and says, "No, you've done effed up, boy," and throws him on the ground, gets a giant mallet and bashes in the brains of Rambling Rabbit where bits of like spread
Orange goo, I want to call
comes
it.
out of his head. And then Bray finishes the episode by saying, "This episode is sponsored by Rambling Rabbit Bohemian Breakfast Spread," which is essentially the bodily juices of Rambling Rabbit.
It's amazing. Amazing stuff. Like, it genuinely, I would not have imagined something this good could have come out of what it started as. Like, the first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, maybe it's all right. Sure, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But now I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's so smart on so many levels. And like when you said when he found Mercy the Buzzard and Rambling Rabbit, and he had he said, "Oh, we're gonna let fate decide," and he put the hands with the gloves on over his ears. One had hurt and one had healed that he'd seen before. So it seems like him letting fate decide is just like listening to the voices in his head. Let him say what's gonna happen, and it was like little things later on when he grabbed Rambling Rabbit by the head and stopped him talking. He had the hurt glove on because he knew what he was gonna do. It's little things like that I'm just like, oh, it's so smart, it's so good, I love it, it's great. I don't have enough praise for it. I
played it to my lady partner because I'm curious how it plays outside of people who know the Bray character.
Yeah.
And I said, what? Sorry, it was the Fiend coming out.
Of course.
I said, watch this. I gave her no context. And she sat down and she didn't even know it was for a wrestling show.
Oh, really?
And she was like, what's that? It's like, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Which, have you ever seen that?
I haven't, no.
Oh my God, I'm going to play it to you afterwards.
Okay.
It's sort of a grotesque kids series on YouTube. They make one episode a year.
Sure.
It's like 4 minutes long.
Okay.
And it's crazy. But she said, "Oh, is it something like that?" And I said, "No, it's wrestling. I tricked you. You like wrestling now." And she was genuinely like, "That's really unsettling and scary."
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, which was quite something that it can break out of this crappiness of WWE's product. But what I loved the most was, and I think it's the first time they've done it, when Bray And I think this is really important for how much this episode worked. When Bray goes to bash in Rambling Rabbit's head with the mallet, it's a shot from the Rambling Rabbit's perspective. Mm-hmm. So you're looking up at Bray, and you're not looking up at Bray in a giant set, like in the Firefly Fun House. You're seeing the actual set's stage lights and the rigging above the stage. So it's like, up until now, you could have made an argument that all of this was inside Wyatt's head, and it's just a manifestation of his own weird thoughts and stuff. But now it's like a snuff film where this is real life, and he's made this in some warehouse somewhere, and he's broadcasting, and he's potentially kidnapped a lot of children, and it just added an extra layer of darkness to it. That's very subtle. I thought it was excellent. As always, best part of the show.
Always is.
By a country mile.
Absolutely.
Now, WrestleTalk.com's Louis Dangoor has a theory.
He does.
Here we go.
I was about to say this.
I don't think he's right. I think it's a coincidence, because I think all of these episodes were recorded pre-WrestleMania and or like, way in advance of Jon Moxley turning up at AEW.
Right.
And I think it was all done in advance, so there's no way they could have riffed off this. However, Louis says that the Rabbit wanted to expose what was really going on in the Funhouse, like how Jon Moxley exposed what was going on to Chris Jericho in the podcast.
Tenuous link so far, but sure.
Wyatt's face paint with like a clown with the red nose has the Jericho makeup.
Two lines, right?
Yeah. Kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like red lines going down past the eyes. The opening bit where there's a sign on the door saying, "Abandon all hope, ye who exit here. Anyone who leaves WWE is going to be rubbish."
Right.
There's that. And Konnichiwa at the start, Bray Wyatt says, could be about Jon Moxley in New Japan. So is it all just a barb at Jon Moxley?
Well, given that Louis fell asleep during Raw, he might have just dreamed all of that anyway. So.
Yeah.
I happen to think no. It's just a coincidence.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But it is.
It's an interesting theory.
Pettier things have been done.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then we got the main event of Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens that we've already talked about.
There was also one more thing, which is Big E returns to the ring tomorrow night.
I missed that.
Yeah, so he's going to be on SmackDown tomorrow. It's going to be New Day versus Sammy, Kevin, and someone else.
Cool.
I forget. 6-man tag
Elias.
match. Big E's coming back, so yay! Excited for that. And I said this is where Big E reveals his attacker's identity, which is going to be like Bray Wyatt or Xavier Woods' heel turn, or probably nobody, because they'll drop it. They'll drop the storyline.
He said it was Owens.
Yeah, and Owens denied it.
Huh. Well,
no one cares because they've already dropped the story.
Yeah,
so
I mean, they're not going to say who attacked Sami Zayn.
No, exactly.
Seems like a really pressing question as well.
That was
because Brock got the briefcase.
Yeah,
off of that.
Yeah.
I gave it a poor 2 out of 5 rating Raw. I thought it was really boring and completely missable show, apart from the 3 minutes of Firefly Funhouse.
Yep. I also thought it was poor. I thought that the triple threat tag team match could have been a little bit better, but it was still fine. The 6-man tag match earlier in the night was also fine, but could have been a little bit better. And Firefly Funhouse was great. Everything else was really, really boring.
Let's have our super chats from Randy Andy Datsun.
Yes, I forgot to mention, Pete. Guess how many people have gone, "That's not Luke," or "Luke looks different."
Oh my God.
It's about 1 million.
It's great because no one else has made that joke.
No, exactly. And did you see New Japan's tweet earlier about...
Yes.
They
I
say,
did see that.
Pete also isn't Luke.
Amazing.
No, they say, "We know there's a real shortage of professional wrestling on Monday nights, so every week we make a new match from our archives free to watch. This week, war between Tomoaki Honma and Katsuyori Shibata from 2016.
That's great. Yeah. I love that.
Shade.
Yeah.
We will do the rest of our super chats now. So AMAC starts us off with, "Do you think Vince agreed with the Crown Prince to do some long-term storytelling from the Saudi shows, but only for Shane, his special little boy?"
No. I think Shane is very much a Vince project.
Yes.
Jobber JJ says, "Truth and Maverick are very funny together."
Well, both guys have great comedic timing.
Exactly.
Drake Maverick, rockstar spud as he used to be, so naturally funny. So surprise, surprise, you put funny people together, it's funny.
It's funny. Yeah, that's what happens.
Muammar Blazevich says Goldberg took a huge dump on his legacy at Super Showdown.
Yeah, it's a shame. They should have just booked it to be a 4-minute match.
Yeah, they really should.
I feel for Goldberg because he seemed genuinely upset with his little Twitter thing. So
Exactly.
Well, Fightful report that everyone backstage was really surprised that it went more than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
maybe it's because he got concussed and it just lost track.
Yeah, maybe.
David Esterly says, I would rather wait for Triple H to take over.
We'll see. Hopefully it'll be better.
I honestly don't think that much will change. It might be like better stories, which would, improve a lot of things, but I think it would still be mostly like the same kind of stuff. He's still a WWE guy at the end of the day.
Guy2231 says Randy Andy Dodson and Chopper Pete are awesome, just saying. If we're really that awesome, you're able to spell my name right. But
Well,
Dodson's over.
Don't start
Randy
Randy
Dodson.
Dodson. Judas Black says Shane looked like a big nerd last night.
He is a big nerd. I hated it. In that promo, Drew cuts this really intense thing where he's staring down the hard cam, being like, I'm going to disfigure Roman Reigns so he's unrecognizable. And then you just hear Shane coming from the back. Oh, you're so intense. That's why I love you, man. It's like, oh, God, you just ruined everything. Like,
You're making it uncool, Dad.
yeah, it's literally that.
This is one of the most terrifying super chats I've read in a while. But
Here we
it
go.
is Joey the Merc says, Spud said there is a surprise on 205 Live tonight.
He did.
Is it Gargano?
Oh, no.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, he did a Twitter video where he just said, we're going to get a definitive challenger for Tony Nese. And just to make it up for the fans, because I've been distracted with Raw and SmackDown in the 24/7, so I'm going to bring a surprise to 205. So
It definitely is. Isn't
No, let's not talk about it.
Who else
it's
could
going
it
to
be?
it's going to be
next super
Mansoor.
chat.
It's going to be
Mansoor.
Mansoor.
Oh, that would be good.
But he's quite tall, so he might not be under 205. Casey
not a height
Swakovsky.
restriction.
No, but he's
It's not.
but
It's not
I'm
5'10"
assuming
under.
because of his height, he might be a bit heavier because he's got more body.
Sure.
I mean, Buddy Murphy's in it, and he's not small. He's also jacked.
That's true. Casey Swakovsky says, if I'm not supposed to watch WWE Weekly, am I not supposed to watch all of the Friends episodes or Seinfeld or any other TV show?
What?
Huh?
I think because it's a story, like...
Oh, is that the thing? I think it's mentioned on another podcast where it's like, oh, well, you're not supposed... If they're catering to fans that don't watch the week-to-week
Sure.
program, so they're trying to catch you up with all the things that you might have missed and all that stuff. So they're saying, well, if I'm not supposed to watch weekly, then I won't watch any other TV show weekly. That doesn't make any sense. I should watch... They should do the program as if it's a weekly show.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a soap opera. It's a continuing drama.
Exactly.
So the storyline should progress and characters should progress from week to week. It's not like a sitcom where you just pick a random 20-minute episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think that follows.
Yeah.
Raymond Jones says it'll be Reigns, Usos, and Seth versus Shane, Drew, and the Revival in the next feud.
Awesome.
Ollie is smiling behind that microphone. He looks really happy.
He's not.
Dustin Pilon says, apart from Shane, Lacey's half of the promo and the unnecessary talking before the six-man tag, I thought this was a 4 out of 5 show.
Well, I'm
So
glad
I
you're
guess
happy.
3 out of
Each to their own.
Yeah, I'm glad you're happy.
I'm glad, Dustin. Kiki Siki says, Samoa Joe to Hollywood could be a great bad guy.
Hey,
He
he's a
could.
good actor. He's intense as well.
I know. And his half of the promo that he had with Miz, content wasn't great. He's so good at delivering stuff that I'm still like, that was still really good.
Film.
He could be a great henchman.
He'd be amazing.
Great
at it.
second to a
Batista's
bad
already
guy.
done a Bond film.
Yeah.
Adam says, where are the Viking Raiders War Machine experience?
Do you know where they are? Main event.
Did you see EC3 on Main Event? His entrance.
Oh, he's so sad.
Someone did a
Yeah.
comparison, and he's just pointing at his EC3.
Yeah, just kind of slowly walks down to
Yeah.
the ring.
Oh, I felt so bad.
Really bad.
Aaron Bono says nothing, but thank you very much for your donation.
Thank you, Aaron.
Jobber JJ says Seth couldn't sell and used condom.
I guess because Seth thinks selling is just taping up your torso and then wrestling like it's not a thing.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I guess so.
So
Weird way to
Seth,
phrase it, but yes.
Seth can't sell it, is what I think.
What he's trying to say.
And I think there is an argument for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate when they just strap themselves up. It's just like, okay, that'll help.
Maybe your sex tape.
Tim Arndt says, I hear you saying WWE will put in more effort when they move to Fox. I still don't think that'll make it a good product. What Vince thinks is good obviously isn't what we think is good.
Hey, he's pulled out stuff in the past, Vince.
He has.
You know, all the good... There has been good stuff, like Firefly Fun House. That is Vince approved. It got on telly. So we
But
can't...
do you think he actually thought it was going to work, or did you think he was like, oh, we'll let him do it? And then...
Well, he's stuck with it.
Well, I
Could
will
have
say,
cancelled
though,
it.
that's not Vince created. It's Vince approved, not Vince created, though. So I think if they're going to move to Fox and do the weekly program, it needs to be Vince created.
Yeah, I doubt Vince walked up to
if
Bray and went,
he's-
hey, I've got this great idea for this new thing.
Yeah, like if they're going to be putting in more effort for Fox, it will be Vince putting in more effort, not like the writers, because they're already putting in effort, is what I'd say. So I think it'll be more Vincified, if anything.
Jaden Rodriguez says, I am up for the Nintendo Direct, but I got a WrestleRamble notification.
Oh, so...
we are second choice.
The Nintendo Direct starts in 40 minutes, so good timing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Well, go over to Screenstalker and subscribe to our video game channel there, because we're covering all the E3 news this week with our brilliant new daily gaming news show.
Yeah, which we
Brilliant.
still don't really have a catchy title for, but it's okay.
Mason Sutton, thank you very much for your duo of donations.
Thank you.
Tomo says, I'm not Hornswoggle,
Tomo.
I'm just a small man.
You're a great man, Tomo.
Yeah.
Clifford
retweet
Miller says, Kevin Smith is a WWE fan, ? Chopper is Silent Bob.
You ever had that before?
No.
You've never had Silent Bob? Are you being sarcastic?
No. I'm being legit. I've never heard that comparison before, honestly.
I don't know who Silent
You know
Bob
what I've got?
You
Wait-
don't know who Silent Bob is?
Oh, man, come on.
Oh!
Even I know
Jay
that.
and Silent Bob.
Jay
Kevin
and Silent
Smith.
Bob, come on.
Yeah.
The one comparison I've had more than once, which has baffled me, is David Tennant. And I'm like, I'm nothing like him, and multiple people have told me that. I'm
If
like,
you shaved off your beard, maybe.
it might have been when I had a shorter beard, maybe.
I get the Rock a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet you
yeah.
do.
Well, that's very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Pearson says, can Joe validate the US title this time?
Well,
I hope so, but
I mean-
it doesn't seem that way.
he has the
Also, hi, Adam.
talent to. It's whether they want him to or not, because he definitely has the talent to. But
Adrian Wells says, who should be Bray Wyatt's first feud and when should Brock cash in?
Brock should cash in at SummerSlam now, and Bray's first feud should be against jobbers. Just have him coming out, get over the act, because I am scared how this act is going to work in the ring.
Just some really scared jobbers looking scared.
Yeah, I don't want it to be where he beats someone up and then he's like, what should I do now?
yeah,
Talking to his hands.
Yeah.
But then maybe that will work, and he goes into the corner and he puts on the Fiend mask and he does something horrible. Like,
Yeah.
that could also get over.
I guess it just depends how it works in the ring, but we won't know until he starts doing it.
Yeah, I want him to debut in the ring soon, though.
Because the thing is, on paper, this shouldn't work. If you said what the Firefly Fun House is and the gimmick that it is, doesn't work on paper. Like, if you describe that to me, I'd be like, that sounds ridiculous. No way. But it absolutely works. So if you say on paper, oh, if he listens to his hands, no, that's not going to work in the ring. It might. That's the thing. It just depends on how it works, on the delivery of it.
Undertaker, Kane, Mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't work, but did.
Jay the Extreme Gamer, thank you very much for your donation. Sparks Entertainment says Wyatt and Dr. Shelby would be an interesting promo.
Yeah, maybe that's the end game for all this.
I'd like to see Dr. Shelby make a cameo. At some point, Dr. Shelby just comes up, just sees Bray, and then immediately he's just like... or like, he starts to have a talk with him and then immediately realizes all the trauma that's gone in his head and just like screams and runs off or something because he can't handle all the stress inside his head. I don't know, something like that.
Luis Jamie Perez says, sat down last night to watch Raw from my DVR, decided to delete it while saying I'll just watch Firefly Fun House on YouTube later.
Yeah, that's
Smart.
wise. That's
Smart
wise.
choice.
Sam Lee, thank you for your donation.
you.
Caleb Maldonado says, Chopper Pete, any thoughts on the new Avengers game?
The faces look rubbish.
We'll have more on that at Screenstalker.
More on that Screenstalker today.
Jonathan Barube says, appreciate all the hard work you guys do and thanks for getting me through my recovery from ankle surgery. With that said, why is Cole introducing Firefly Fun House? Weren't they supposed to be random?
Yeah, it hasn't been recently. I don't get why still on the 8th week it cuts back to Cole. He goes, what was that? Say, you've been promoting it earlier in the night. It doesn't even make sense within the confines of your own episode.
It makes zero sense, but that's WWE for you.
Yes, and get better soon, Jonathan, for your ankle surgery. Nick Kveljo says, Bray is carrying the company. I hope his back is okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
Tim Arndt says, WWE gets so much heel heat they could recreate the Saudi Arabia climate.
Actual
It's a good one.
I agree.
Real feel.
Yeah.
Jobber JJ says, jobbers are the best. Nearly 8 million views on YouTube. I don't know.
Oh, for the 24/7 title segments, probably.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
doing really well. I mean,
They're
but
doing
we
very
always
well.
said that it's a title and division designed to really be shared on social media.
Absolutely.
And it's working.
Look at this funny thing that happened in an airport or on a golf course.
Jonathan Barubes says, did you see Owen's line about the wild card? We
Yes.
did. It was great.
That
What
was
did he
great.
say?
So he said, it was in the opening promo when he first came out and said, I've got Sammy's back. And he said, and because I'm here from the wild card, whatever that means, I'm going to do this thing tonight. Yeah, it was quite funny.
Sly Guy 2021, thank you for your donation.
Thank
Jobber JJ says, Pete, F&F is more logical than WWE. What is F&F?
Fast and Furious.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you got a point. You got me there.
Ivan Drago says, agree with Ollie, the Fast and Furious franchise is great because it proved that The Rock has the power to divert nuclear missiles with his bare hands.
When he kicks a missile on the ice to reroute it. Shut up, Pete.
I've seen that happen in real life, Pete.
If those guys are superheroes, that's fine, right?
That's what they are.
But they haven't been set up to be superheroes. They're guys.
Magnus Bernström says, which one is better, Judas Effect or The Women's Right?
I like the Judas Effect.
Judas Effect
Judas
is
Effect
better.
it's better, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
Nathan Hansen says they ruined EC3 Watch's intro main event. We've discussed
Yep.
that. Danny, your boy DeVito says, read an article on a cool website, which is WrestleTalk.com. That said the episode of Firefly Fun House was a jab and Rose Moxley. That's good. S word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go and read. Have your say. Maybe you think it is.
And
Such
read
good
all the
S
other
word.
articles on there as well, mainly. Not
Make it
that
your
I wrote.
homepage.
Written.
Bookmark it.
Michael Lockett says it's Rambling Rabbit's viscous acidic liquid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect
Viscous-
for breakfast.
Viscous acidic liquid spells Val. So Val. Fan theory confirmed.
Keith Fry says I'm still up and down on the 24/7 title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much
that's
like
fair.
an elevator.
Hey. Very
Mike
good.
Martin 2 does 2 messages in a row. First is, if that evil doink doesn't work, please call him Nickeldaft the Clown, since AW already signed Evil Donk and the Juggalos.
Did they?
I don't
The
know.
more you know.
Not what I've seen. Mike Martin 2 says, P.S. My 4-year-old screamed, no, Sammy, no, not Kevin, not the mid-card of evil. Daddy, it's all Baron's fault. I blame you, Ollie, and I'm good.
Smart kid.
Very smart.
Nate Dropped Surname says, good to see Pete on the review. Dibs on Chopper Pete's #1 fan title.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
We've got another section starting up.
Pete section.
Pete section.
Hell yeah.
Ivan Drago says, is Rambling Rabbit just the Kenny McCormick of Firefly Fun House? I don't know who that is.
I don't know who Kenny McCormick
That
is.
brings. I know.
I feel like he's a sports guy, right?
Are we all googling on air?
Yeah, we're Googling.
Oh.
It's from
It's-
South
it's
Park.
Kenny.
It's Kenny.
From South Park.
They killed Kenny. Yes, he is. He's died twice now, right?
Yeah.
Some sports guy, Pete.
Yeah, some sports guy.
Jobber JJ
Who am I
says,
thinking
great
of?
to see we can all help Sammy for Syria. Good point.
Yes. We raised so much money for Sammy for Syria last Friday in the Super Showdown live stream. All your super chats, which amounted to
$514.15.
Yes.
Nice.
Amazing
So
stuff.
that went over
That is
to.
incredible.
So unfortunately, I wanted to do it as WrestleTalk, but
Yeah.
it went through the PayPal. So
Oh, no.
it just says Ollie Davis. So I'll take if you want to think that was all me
Yeah.
personally.
Totally you. Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much.
Sammy.
Thank you so much for your
Sammy.
Be our friend.
donation. Jason Jimison says, "What is EC3 drinking out of that cup?"
Probably his
Nothing.
career.
Oh.
Rocky Balboa, thank you very much for your donation.
Thank you.
Very generous. Valab Mamidipudi says,
Try again,
"What is the deal with putting the belts on the Revival? Weren't they supposed to be buried?"
Well, they've obviously got an idea to use them in the Shane McMahon comedy backup.
Yeah, and I think some people might think that this is some sort of incentive for them not to leave after the contracts expire again, like it was the first time. I don't think it is, though. I think it's a story piece between them and the Usos, and part of that story with Shane McMahon. They're just people that the Usos can beat eventually, is what I think it is. So
Yeah, reportedly their contracts don't expire till early next year, so
they've
might
got
as
a
well
while to
use
go.
them.
Yeah.
Aaron Bono says, "WWE drop storylines faster than cheap porn."
Yeah.
Another weird analogy.
I quite like it.
That's good.
Robert Santiago, thank you very much for your donation. And lastly is John Marth, who says, "Just woke up, might have missed it. Sorry, but have you addressed Velveteen Dream's Instagram story yet? Also, Pete, what do you think of the next Smash Bros. DLC will be?"
So is that part of the Nintendo?
It's part of the Nintendo
thing
Direct. They said
later?
they're going to announce the next DLC fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think it's either going to be something to do with... No. It's going to be something to do with Link's Awakening, which I think they're probably going to talk about, or it's going to be another Fire Emblem character from Fire Emblem 3 Heroes, which will be really anticlimactic if it is, because there's so many sword boys already.
Subscribe to Screenstalker to get all the E3 news all throughout the week.
Yeah.
What a channel.
Tomorrow
It's our
we'll be
video
talking
gaming
about
channel.
Nintendo.
So what was the other question?
Velveteen Dream's Instagram
Oh,
story.
yeah, so this-
I haven't seen about this.
Yeah,
What is
so
it?
it's a story where it's just like Vince McMahon is the most amazing writer, and he goes into like how Star Wars is created by George Lucas, and you've got to love it all. You can't dismiss the ones where George Lucas went over the top with the prequels.
Yeah.
It's heel work.
Yeah.
It was a heel thing to annoy the exact fans that like him, because he doesn't want you to like him. He wants you to boo him. He's not a heel, though. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's got that, but part of his character is very egotistical.
I guess.
To me, it read as a character-based thing to get heat.
Maybe.
But yeah, you're right. He isn't so much of the old heel train.
He's a tweener now, at best.
Well, let's get out of here with our Patreon shout-outs.
Woo.
Thank you, Astounding Abdullah Alenzi.
Yes. Can I see your screen, please?
Can you
Thank
see
you.
that?
Adam and the Anthony Bergeron.
Yeah,
Bergeron.
woo.
Nathan, for you, Ford.
Yeah, woo. Thanks, Nathan. Disrespectfully classy, Marky Blasey.
Pretty sure it's Blasey. With
Blasey.
classy, but that's
Blasey.
okay. Blasey.
Blasey.
Rob Steiner Recliner.
Yeah, Rob, come on.
I trust you as Sam Farah as I can throw you. That's Luke's
Whoa.
favourite.
Love that name.
Yo, Adrian! Rocky.
Woo.
Yeah, Rocky.
Bad Connection, Thomas Lagdon.
Lag. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Don't know what it means.
Don't
It's
know
a
what that
Luke
means.
thing.
Some type of reference.
Leader of the boys, Dalton Sizemore.
One of my favourite names.
Love it. The incredible Tarzo.
Woo. And finally, spoken class today, Jeremy Smith.
Yeah! Well done for speaking in class. If you want to get your shout-outs at the end of the WrestleRamble, please press the Patreon button that's just arrived here, where you can become a pledge hammer on WrestleTalk's Patreon account, and click the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk awesome stuff. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Chopper Pete. Over there has been WrestleTalk.com's Randy Andy Datson, and that was Rambling.